A few weeks ago, she lost $3 million, and now she set herself up to make $30 million. This all happened in about 24 hours, and I'm about to break down the exact strategy she did. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Casey Brown, and I own an agency that helps founders, executives, CEOs become thought leaders and build their personal brand. And as a player in this field of building a personal brand, I like to study some of the founders and CEOs and the folks doing it right. And by the end of this video, you're going to have the exact playbook that turned one of the worst days of her careers into the best thing that has probably ever happened to her personal brand. Giara built Ami Collet into a $3 million L'Oreal-backed beauty company sold in every Sephora across North America. And a few weeks ago, she announced that she was shutting it all down. But here's where this whole announcement and everything just gets genius. Within 60 minutes of that closing down announcement, she had coordinated media coverage across 5 major publications, maybe more at this point. And it wasn't damage control. This was strategic warfare. She was owning the story. And now she's probably about to become more valuable than her company ever was. Let me show you the most brilliant PR coordination I've ever witnessed, because this timeline will change how you think about personal brand and, more importantly, failure forever. Now, don't quote me on these times, but judging by my research, this is approximately what happened. 9 a.m. Instagram post goes live. She says something like, "This is a love letter, not a goodbye." By 9:30 a.m., The Cut publishes her 2,000-word essay. It was already written, edited, and scheduled. By 9:45 a.m., Harper's Bazaar article goes out calling her beloved. By 10 a.m., TechCrunch positions her as one of the first Black women to raise over $1 million and starts covering the story as well. By 10:15 a.m., Essence has an exclusive interview that publishes. By 10:30 a.m., Twitter and Threads and LinkedIn starts exploding with folks just calling her a legend. Here's what blew my mind. This level of coordination does not happen by accident. She had pre-written articles with major publications, scheduled interviews ready to deploy, unified messaging across all platforms, and strategic timing down to the minute. This is the same strategy folks like Elon used when Tesla was struggling, the same strategy that Steve Jobs used during Apple's dark years, the same strategy that every billionaire uses when they need to control a narrative. We see this in other communities all the time, but seeing a Black woman strategically take advantage of controlling her story and narrative, whew, that blew my mind. And in this economy where so many businesses are needing to shut down, so many folks are losing capital, or it's really hard to raise capital right now, most founders and executives and CEOs are treating business failures like a funeral. But Giara treated it like a product launch. And after studying this pattern across dozens of successful pivots, I've identified what I now like to call strategic narrative ownership. And here's the exact 3-phase playbook. Now, we have phase 1, which is the pre-game strategy. Before she needed it, she wrote multiple versions of her story. Think about this. While most founders scramble to explain what went wrong, she already had her narrative crafted, polished, and ready for different audiences. She identified which outlets wanted her story, built relationships with the journalists in her space, or used some sort of PR agency to do this, and prepared different angles for different publications. The business world got the investor perspective, the beauty industry got the inclusion angle, the mainstream media got the underdog story. And this is identical to what Reid Hoffman did when LinkedIn faced major challenges, what Oprah did during her network struggles, and what every media-savvy leader does. They write tomorrow's headlines today. And now, phase 2, which is the positioning play. I just want you guys to take a second and look at these headlines. Every single one frames her as the expert who tried to fix a broken system, not someone who failed. She made herself the protagonist, not the victim. She used data as armor. Black founders get less than 1% of funding. Suddenly, she's not the failure. The system is. She positioned her struggles as market research. Every challenge became evidence of what's wrong with the industry. This is the same strategy that turned Mark Cuban's early failures into investment authority. The same approach that turned Damon John's rejections into business expertise. And now we go into phase 3, which is the leverage moment. Finally, she struck while she had maximum attention. She turned every interview into industry insights, and she used her story to teach others. She planted the seeds for what's to come next, and also Also, one thing a lot of folks didn't see is she leveraged all of this momentum and platform to also give her team new opportunities. She posted on Instagram, hey, here's the team I'm needing to let go. They are looking for roles and jobs. They're all great at what they do. Please hire them. That's a way to use your platform and momentum. And also, when we look at things like this, here's what I saw a lot of folks missing. She didn't just react to opportunities, she created them. Every media appearance becomes a speaking opportunity. Every article becomes credibility for her next venture. Every interview becomes content for her personal brand. And here's why this works so well and why most people get this completely backwards. People don't trust perfect success stories. They trust people who have been through hell and can explain it. Her struggles now become her credentials. Her setbacks have become her story material. This has not only elevated her personal brand, but it's also made her more human, more relatable. It's somebody that we now buy into. Humans love the underdog story and the rise to redemption. Think about it. Who would you rather learn from? Someone who's never failed or someone who can fail publicly, learn from it, and teach you exactly what went wrong? This is why Shark Tank investors share their failure stories. Why somebody like Tim Ferriss talks about his darkest moments. Why every great leader has a comeback narrative. Failure isn't opposite of authority, it's the foundation of it. The difference now is control. Most people let failures just happen to them. Strategic people like Giara make failure work for them. There's a difference there, my friend, and I hope you caught that. Now that you understand the game and you see how it all played out, what's next for her? Honestly, I don't know. I'm not in her brain, but let me just break down the empire that she just built and some options that now exist even more than they did while she was probably running this business. She can now get involved in the speaking circuit, probably $10,000 to $30,000 plus per keynote. Every business conference, every beauty summit, every entrepreneurship event now wants her perspective. And because she has this newfound fame and momentum, it's also going to be a win-win for them because if they say, hey, this person is speaking at our event, they'll probably sell more tickets, have more interest. There's opportunities like board positions. Major brands will pay six figures annually just to have her insights and credibility on their board. It also is a good look for them and a press opportunity. There's investment opportunities. VCs who probably wouldn't return her calls last month are fighting to either back her next venture or bring her in on a current venture they have. Again, because of her momentum, leverage, fame, and expertise. She can build a media empire. She's now the go-to expert about any story about business industry funding, Black entrepreneurs, or business resilience. She has the opportunity to maybe do a book deal. Publishers are probably reaching out, trying to hear her story about building, losing, and rebuilding. It's exactly what the market wants and something that makes a great book. Her $3 million company is now gone or set to be gone pretty soon, but she just became one of the most in-demand voices in beauty. And that's not just career insurance, that's career multiplication. Now, I want y'all to hear me when I say this. The lesson isn't just for beauty founders or venture-backed companies. This applies to anyone who faces any sort of setback or failure. And here's how you can build your own strategic narrative ownership. Now, before you need to build it, I want you to do a few things. One, I want you to document your journey as you build. Giara was notably famous for doing this, which also allowed her to have so many raving fans and such a strong community to help nail this story down. You would often see her doing videos in Target or Sephora, documenting how she was building her brand, and she brought the community along with it. So of course, as soon as she announced she was closing, she had thousands of people really impacted by that and wanted to share because she brought them along on the journey of building. So I want you to write down your challenges, your learning moments, your industry insights, build relationships with the media folks in your space. Because what happens is most people wait until crisis hits, and strategic people prepare while things are good. Now, when a setback does happen, which inevitably it will, right? That's the cycle of life, highs and lows. I want you to speak first and speak with authority. Do not, I repeat, do not let others define your story. Position yourself as the expert who lived it, not the victim who suffered it, and use data to support your position. Make it about a system failure, not a personal failure, if you're able to. Now, hear me when I say this. Do not lie to just craft some interesting story. Understand what happened and take control of the narrative is what I'm calling out here. Also, we've all seen people leverage PR and take control of the story in unethical ways. I need you guys to hear me when I say this because I mean it, and I'm a person of ethics and integrity. For the ones listening to this, please, whenever I say, and whenever you do, take control of your story, do it with the most integrity and the most ethics that you can have. This is why I believe Giara's story really resonated, because she came to the table with data, with vulnerability, and sharing a failure that was rooted in her being super ethical and having a bunch of integrity. It wasn't her trying to spin some narrative, which is something that I also see often in this space. And I won't name any names, but I see it far too much. Don't be that person. Now, after you share and take control of this story and narrative, turn the attention into opportunity. Use your story to teach others. Build on credibility that you've established, goodwill that you've put out in the market. Let it become the foundation for what is next. This is the same pattern Jeff Bezos used during the dot-com crash, the same approach Reed Hastings used when Netflix was struggling against Blockbuster, the same strategy that turns every major setback into a competitive advantage. Now, here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Your company's value is temporary. Whether you're a founder or a CEO of your own business, or a participant, an employee, or executive in someone else's business, it's temporary. None of it's gonna last forever. You may leave that corporate job, and or your business might have a life cycle of 5 years. But here's the thing, your personal brand value, that is permanent. That is something you will have with you for the rest of your life. And your failures are not endings, they are beginnings. Your setbacks aren't shame, they're strategy. And the most successful people do not avoid failure. I'm a person that loves documentaries. I'm sure some of y'all watching this love documentaries. And in documentaries, all you see is failure, 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 failure. The most successful people plan for failure. They control it, they weaponize it, they use it to their advantage, especially when sharing their story. They're not shy about their failures, they share them. And Giara just proved that losing everything can be one of the best things that has ever happened to your career and this thing that you will own forever, your personal brand. But only if you are strategic and truthful about it. She didn't just announce a business closure like so many people do. She orchestrated a career transformation, again, rooted in vulnerability and integrity. She didn't just survive a setback, she turned it into a competitive advantage. Now, the question isn't whether you'll face failures, because my friend, you already have and you will continue to face failures. It's whether you will let those failures define you or you will use them to redefine yourself. You will use them to share and impact the world. You will use them to share and start adding more brand value and equity into this thing you will have with you for the rest of your life, your personal brand and reputation. Now, I'm getting a little passionate about this. I hope y'all can tell, but it is true, y'all. I say this thing all the time, and I didn't come up with this line, but your personal brand is your retirement plan. And on this journey of building and sharing and documenting yourself online, my friend, you are going to run into failures. That's just the name of the game, and that's just the game of life. But what I want you to see with what Giara did so perfectly is how vocalizing and being public about those failures can actually be one of the best tools in your toolkit. Do not hide, do not sugarcoat, do not try to make a story out of something else and shift the narrative. Share the failures, share the wins. I'm gonna tell you right now though, the failures are gonna be one of your most secret weapons into building a personal brand that has authenticity and that has the leverage, the potential to impact the world. I love talking about personal brand. I love doing these breakdowns if you can't tell. So if you got some value in this, leave me a comment. Also, you'll find a link somewhere around here. You guys know what to do. In that link, I share all of my frameworks and how I'm building my own personal brand and how I help other executives and CEOs do the same. With that, my friend, I'll see you in the next one.